When you try to tell Patricia, what did Patricia do?
She was like, it's not that bad. You want to hang with the big boys, but you can't take the pain like they do.
Hi guys, I'm gonna apologize in advance if I start to cry, but the topic that I'm about to speak on is very serious and I get emotional when I'm speaking about it, but I feel like this is something that needs to be put out there so that others are aware of things that can possibly go on with people that you are supposed to trust, such as families, cousins, aunties, sisters, brothers, whatever. Guys, please just make sure you're watching your kids and don't trust them around anybody, whether that's family, friends, it doesn't matter. So on July 15th, my nephew and my niece were at their grandmother's house on their dad's side, and my nephew wanted to visit his cousins who he adored, who he looked up to, his 15 and 16-year-old cousins who he adored and looked up to. He wanted to go visit them. Well, lo and behold, what he didn't know was that his two cousins, who are, mind you, they're 6'2", and they're 15 and 16, and my nephew is 11 years old, that they were gonna jump on him, attack him, and abuse him for 2 days. My nephew got slammed to the floor, he got kicked, he got choked for 2 days. They choked him, they slammed him on the floor, they kicked him, they grabbed him by his shorts and slammed him to the floor. They busted his nose, they threw him up in the air where he hit his head on a chair. They threw him on top of Legos. My nephew went crying, screaming, running, so scared that he grabbed a knife for them to leave him alone. He grabbed a knife. An 11-year-old grabbed a knife because he feared for his life. He was so scared that he ran and grabbed a knife. And let me remind you, his grandmother and his auntie was right there and did nothing. They did absolutely nothing while this little kid was scared and feared for his life. These are supposed to be people that he could trust, who was supposed to keep him safe. Did absolutely nothing while he was running scared to where he had to grab a knife because his own cousins were abusing him. And when he grabbed the knife and ran for help, his two cousins chased after him, grabbed him by the shorts, twisted his arm, snatched the knife out of his hands, covered his mouth, threw him up in the air where he landed on the floor. Remind you guys, this happened over a 2-day period. My nephew suffered. It took for the neighbor's kid to call my nephew's brother and tell him, you need to get over here because something is happening with Kaleb. You need to tell your dad to come get him right now. My nephew's dad called his mom, Patricia Marsh, to see what was going on with his son, and she tried to cover it up and said, oh, nothing's going on, he's fine, they're fine, his lip is not busted, he's okay. Then when my nephew called, when my sister finally got a hold of them, she tried to cover it up. After all this happened, his grandmother, Patricia Marsh Matthews and Whitney Matthews, told my nephew, you want to hang with the big kids? Deal with it. Or something to that nature. Let me not put words in people's mouths. But who tells a kid that who just got jumped on and abused and beat up and tortured for 2 days? What adults tell a kid that? No sympathy, no I'm sorry that happened to you. If you want to hang with the big kids, basically this is what you get. Guys, when my nephew got home to his mother, he fell into her arms because that's how bad he was injured. My sister had to take him to the hospital, where the hospital deemed it as assault. They deemed it as assault. He had a contusion to the face. And my nephew was just like, I'm okay, Mom, I'm okay. Because he didn't want to be a snitch. He didn't want to tell. I get a call, mind you, this happened Monday and Tuesday, which my sister didn't get notified until Wednesday, where her son and her daughter finally came home. Thursday morning, I get a call that my nephew had to get rushed back to the hospital because at 5 o'clock that morning, he came running in my sister's room, screaming, "Mom, please help me. Please help me, Mom." Throwing up, to where my sister had to rush him back to the hospital. And after doing a CAT scan, my nephew has a concussion and he has a traumatic brain injury. My nephew is a football player. He is really good at football. He can't play football. The hospital told him that he cannot get hit in the head whatsoever or he'll start having seizures. My nephew right now is not himself. He's not in the right state of mind. He's asking his mom, can he use the bathroom? He doesn't know what's going on. His mom is crying and he doesn't even know why. The doctor told my sister that this is going to be a long road to recovery. The doctor doesn't even want him in school right now because he doesn't even want him accidentally getting pushed over. He doesn't want him accidentally getting hit because that's how bad his injury is. Guys, there's 6 other kids that's living in this house with one being autistic. And I'm gonna say allegedly, the autistic boy, this is the same thing is happening to him and nobody is doing anything about it. When we contacted the police said, oh, because he doesn't have any broken bones, there's nothing we can do about it. Why does it take for somebody to die before something can be done? This is serious. You know how many kids go to their family member's house, go to their friend's house and never come back? Why does it take for a kid to be unalived before they want to do something about it? But if we take the law into our own hands, then we're going to go to jail. It's just not right. CPS, somebody needs to come and remove these kids out of that house because they are not safe at all. The same thing is happening to this autistic kid and he can't speak up for himself. There's no one there to keep him safe. These kids need to be removed out of her custody. These are the people that are allowing things like this to happen to an 11-year-old and then trying to cover it up. And then after the fact that everything is out, now they're trying to cover it up. Now they're trying to say, oh, they did this because he touched them. First of all, if my nephew touched one of them inappropriately, which I know for a fact he didn't, if he touched one of them inappropriately, why did it take 2 days? 2 days before you said something. And then you didn't even say anything after those 2 days. It took for the neighbor's kid to contact his brother who contacted his dad and let them know what was going on in that house. And it wasn't until then that you contacted his mother to bring him home because you wanted all evidence away from you. If he did the things that you said that he did, why did it take 2 days? Why didn't the police get called? Why didn't his mother get called? Why didn't you send them home if he was doing these inappropriate things? No, now that everything is out and my nephew have these injuries, now you're trying to place lies on him. Then, to make matters worse, they call his brother, which is on his dad's side, to try to get him to make up lies. Oh, say Kaleb did this to you. Say Kaleb did that. Can you send us any videos of anything Kaleb did wrong to try to cover their asses? No, my nephew did nothing wrong. All he wanted to do was go enjoy time with his grandmother, who he adored, and his cousins who he looked up to, and this is what happened. If my nephew wouldn't have been over there any longer, he probably wouldn't be here right now. And this is serious. You guys, please share this video. Please get this out there. Them kids, the 6 kids that she have in her custody needs to be removed. How can two adults allow this to happen? It's just not making sense. They don't care. They didn't care what happened to my nephew. They didn't care. They still don't care because now they're trying to make things up to try to cover themselves. You can't cover it up. His injuries speak for himself. If my nephew did such horrible things that you guys are saying, I'm going to post pictures right here. These are the pictures that they took of him choking him out and then posted it on social media. How do you explain that? They were just bullying him. You can see the fear in his eyes. Look how scared he is. This is an 11-year-old boy we're talking about. My nephew has busted lips. His nose and his bone in his nose is almost broke. Not on his head. My nephew doesn't even know what's going on around him right now. He's not mentally there right now. He's barely eating. All he want to do is sleep because of his brain injury. The doctor told my sister the best thing for him to do is to sleep, but don't let him sleep too long because he can fall into a coma and not wake up. We can't take these things lightly, guys. These are our kids that we have to protect. Stuff that's happening like this that just happened to my nephew is happening to a lot of kids out there. And nobody is saying anything. No, everybody is just keeping quiet. This is not okay. This is an 11-year-old boy we're talking about who has a bright future. Who can't even play sports right now.
Hey, this next young man, he got a whole lot of fire in him, boy. He got a whole lot of fire in him. He came, what? 3 weeks in. But he earned him a spot. He earned a lot of respect. And I can't wait to get him back next year. We all gonna say something. Look at this lead me up here. Look at this lead me up here.
Show up for a whole season. I ain't had you one whole season. All right? Show up for a whole season. You know how I feel about you, dog.
From my perspective, with a sideline to sideline, give respect to the show, Mr. Kaleb Marshall.
Let's go.
Give respect.
Yeah, baby. Can't even go to school right now. We have the new school year that's getting ready to start. He can't even start school. He can't even play his video games because the doctor don't want him too stressed out. We need something to be done. I need you guys to share this video as much as you can. Get it out there. Patricia Marsh Matthews, Whitney Matthews, something needs to happen. And for the 2 little boys, the 2 big boys that did this to him, we need justice. I'm not going to put their names out there because they're minors, but we need justice. I don't understand how, after a situation like this that just took place, a grandmother who, this is your blood, you look at him and say, oh, you want to hang with the big kids? Deal with it. And this boy has a traumatic brain injury. This is not no cousin fighting. Trust me, I had little fights with my cousins growing up. This is not that. This is serious. They tortured and assaulted and beat that boy. They beat my nephew. For what? For no reason. And I'm just so thankful. I am so thankful to that neighbor's kid who contacted his brother, who contacted his dad to get them out of there. And I'm just so glad that he is home safe and recovering, and his road to recovery is going to be long and slow. My nephew is traumatized. He's going to need counseling. He is mentally messed up in the head because he doesn't understand how his grandmother and his auntie will allow his cousins, blood cousins, to do this to him. He doesn't understand the people that he loved and that were supposed to protect him. How could they let this happen to me? It's so messed up. But I just pray that my nephew pulls through this and that he will be okay. And we need justice. We need them kids pulled from her care. Because it's a money thing for her. She don't care about them kids because you see what she let happen to my nephew. And like I said, allegedly, the same thing is happening to this autistic kid that's in her custody. And she's not doing anything about it. It's too many kids in the foster care system that is getting mistreated, who's dying, and nobody is doing anything about it. Let's not wait until it happened to your kid. Let's not wait until it happened to you for us to speak up and protect these kids. Guys, I won't deal with any negative comments. I won't deal with none of that. I will just immediately just block you. This video is serious, and we need the word to get out there. We need this video to get out there because we need justice. And I want to protect the kids that are still in her custody. So please share this video. And please, parents out there, watch your kids, even around family. People think because they're with family, they're safe. No, they're not. They're not safe with anybody but you. So please just keep an eye on your kids. Listen to your kids. Listen to your kids. Question your kids. Even if they go to a family member's house, question your kids. Make sure your kids are okay. A lot of kids these days are afraid to speak up. They're afraid to tell you what's going on. Make sure you let your kids know and create that safe space for them to let them know it's okay to tell. You're not a snitch if you tell. You're protecting yourself and your safety. There's kids out there getting molested. There's kids out there that's... Guys, we have to protect our kids. Please be the voice for your kids. My sister is being the voice for her child. She is fighting for justice. We're fighting for justice. And we're not going to let this slide. We're not going to let them get away with this. If we got to go to the news, if we got to go to every social media site, we're going to get justice. And they're going to pay for what they did to my nephew. And there's no remorse. There's no remorse at all. All they're doing is creating more lies to try to cover themselves. They're not sorry for what they did. His grandmother, and auntie, they're not sorry for what happened to my nephew. They're just trying to protect them and the money that they have coming in. I'm going to post pictures of my nephew before this happened, and I'm going to show you my nephew now. He is not the same little boy that he was. If you guys have been following my channel, I have videos of my nephew on there. He's a bubbly little kid like everybody else who like video games, who like playing sports. And he's not himself right now. And that breaks my heart tremendously. We need justice. And we need the police to step up and do what they're supposed to do. We need child services to step up and do what they're supposed to do. Justice for Kaleb. The next clip you're about to hear is my nephew explaining what happened to him. I'm gonna try and block out the names of the minors, so it might seem a little edited, but I don't want to expose the two boys' name due to the fact that there are minors.
So we're going to talk about the first day it happened to you. What's the first thing that it did to you?
Put me in the chokehold and was recording it on the phone in the group chat.
Okay. And then what else happened?
He put me in another chokehold, then he pushed me into like a small area, and then my head hit the fan.
Okay. So this was happened all on Monday? Okay.
No, on Tuesday. On Tuesday night.
On Tuesday night. Okay, can you tell me the part where it was recording choking you? What you did when you tried to run out the room?
Oh, when no, that was yesterday. Earlier.
Okay.
That wasn't nighttime. After was choking me, was on the group chat call, and he left. Before he left, he said, "Told you to stop doing him like that. We're older than him. He can't take all the pressure."
And then you tried to run out?
And then then in the morning, I was trying to get under the covers because it was cold in the room. And then picked me up and slammed me on the Legos on the floor. And then he slammed me again, and then he kicked me in my right thigh, and then I fell forward, and I hit my head on the edge of the chair, and then my nose and my lip was starting to bleed, and my teeth was hurting, and I tried to go tell my nana. No, but the first time he slammed me, he tried to slam me again, but I tried to run, and I went in the hallway, and my auntie Whitney, she was in the living room, and I called her name, and then she didn't hear me and pulled me by my underwear to pull me back over there, and then he covered my mouth so I can't say anything, and he took me in the room, and he slammed me again, and then he kicked me, and he started kicking me multiple times, and then he kicked me again, and then I fell forward and hit my mouth and my head and my nose on the edge of the chair.
Why did you grab a knife, son?
Oh, I grabbed a knife because I was scared.
What did they do when you sit up there and put the knife in the back of your pocket? What did you do? What did they do?
Watched me, so I pulled it out, and they came behind me, and he pushed me on the floor. Then he bended my arm back, and then I lost control, and the knife fell out my hand.
Did you cry at all? When you tried to tell Patricia, what did Patricia do?
She was like, it's not that bad. You want to hang with the big boys, you don't, but you can't take the pain like they do and stuff. And then she was just arguing on the phone with my dad and stuff.
But she didn't believe anything that you were saying to them?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Do you remember anything else that they did?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so.
And then had pantsed me and threw me on the Legos again.
Okay. When did they get the picture of them? So when he was recording you, they were all screen recording you?
Mm-mm. No, they weren't all screen recording us.
How did that make you feel?
Embarrassed.
Embarrassed? Did you cry one time? Did you tell them to stop?
Yeah, I told them to stop. I did. I walked in the living room. I walked in my grandma's family room and just sat there. And like for the middle of the night, I just went to sleep there for a little bit, and then I just went there and there was sleep. And so I just went to sleep in the bed.
So for 2 days they did this to you, or every day that you was over there?
Mostly every day.
Every day?
How it started, the way my nana found out that me and this incident is because how he hopped up early in the morning. He just got on my PlayStation 5, and then I was like, no, get off of it because you were being mean to me last night. He was like, you don't want to take turns. I said, no, get off my game. He said, all right, wait until Nana finds out that you pulled a knife out on me. I said, okay, bet. And then we go in the room, and then she was like, you pulled a knife out on him. I don't know if I'm gonna beat both of y'all, or I don't know. And then she was just yelling at us and stuff, and then they changed the whole subject. And then when my nana found out about an incident, she was like, I should whoop both of y'all right now and stuff. And she said that she would, because everybody sat outside the room. Me, Araya, and sat outside the room, and we were hearing him getting what, but it sounded like it was just like, that's the only thing it sounded like, and was only like and then he opened the door and he was smiling, and she was like, you don't like that Louis Vuitton, huh? And then he was like, mm-mm. And then he left the room, and then my nana told me to sit on her couch until she figures out what she gonna do.
Do they? Yeah.
Actually, when he takes a victory, they tell him to do everything. I tell him to do all the